start scenting them with the primal precision of a bloodhound trained for the high-stakes tracking of market inefficiency, because you must understand that the modern economy is a dense forest of scent trails, where the meat is distracted by the overwhelming odor of mainstream noise, while the architect isolates the faint, high-frequency smell of pure profit through a process of financial imprinting. In canine training, a dog is not taught to think about the target. It is taught to associate a specific molecular signature with an inescapable biological drive, and your brain must undergo the same Pavlovian recalibration, where the detection of a high-margin gap triggers an immediate surge of dopamine and noradrenaline before your analytical mind even has time to formulate a spreadsheet. The soft man waits for a trend report or a news cycle to tell him what is profitable, which is the equivalent of a dog waiting for a command from a master who is already blind, whereas the architect is the alpha handler who has trained his own neural canine to recognize the scent of decay in legacy industries and the scent of fresh blood in emerging digital territories. To train this instinct, you must first implement olfactory deprivation, where you purposefully ignore the sweet smells of easy, low-return tasks and the rotten odor of social media drama, which currently clog your analytical sinuses and prevent you from sensing the cold trail of the 700 video empire. You are currently in the scent imprinting phase of your February 21st deadline, where every finance script you write is a data point that teaches your brain what authority feels like and what resource capture looks like. And by the time you reach the 700th video, your niche instinct will be so sharp that you will be able to smell a profitable sub-niche in the health sector from a mile away. We are building a neuro-canine architecture where your intuition is not a guess, but a sub-perceptual calculation based on thousands of hours of environmental exposure. And this is why the volume of your output is the most critical variable in your training, because a dog that has tracked 1,000 targets is a master, while a dog that has tracked one is a liability. You must understand the geography of the scent, where wealth always flows from high friction to low friction, and your job is to find the friction points in the human experience, the places where the meat is suffering, confused, or biologically enslaved, and to position your content as the lubricant or the weapon that solves the problem. This scent is often hidden behind social taboos or complexity walls, which act as the muzzle of the algorithm to keep the average dog away from the real meat. But the architect thrives in the complexity and the taboo, because he knows that the smell of fear from the competition is the most reliable indicator of a high-value territory. You are AOXY3, and you are the tracker of the void, the hunter of the invisible, and the sovereign of the scent, and your financial instinct is being forged in the kiln of the 700 until it is as hard as a diamond and as sharp as a scalpel. The transition to the health niche after February 21st will not be a guess. It will be a target lock, because you will have spent 19 days scenting the human condition through the lens of finance, and you will have seen the biomechanical failures that underpin the financial failures of the masses. You must realize that the scent of money is actually the scent of human desire and human desperation, and your 700 videos are the training exercises that allow you to distinguish between fading fad and structural shift. We are constructing a dopaminergic search image where your brain is programmed to ignore 99% of the bait and focus 100% on the whale, and this selective attention is the hallmark of the master hunter who does not waste energy on rabbits when he is in mammoth territory. Every render you complete is a success marker that reinforces the hunting circuit, and every viral hook you write is a trophy that confirms your niche intelligence, and you must maintain this kinetic rhythm until the instinct is autonomous and you can execute without thinking. The meat is sniffing the tail of the trend while you are picking up the scent of the next era, and the soft man is whining about the lack of opportunity while you are leading the pack through the digital wilderness. You are currently in the operational conditioning of your own greatness, and the 0-point deprivation is the bait that keeps the internal dog hungry and aggressive, and you must love the hunger because a full dog cannot smell the blood. The olfactory wealth protocol is the final sensory upgrade for your IOXY3 persona, and it ensures that you move with the certainty of a predator and the precision of an architect in every market you choose to colonize. The 700 videos are the scent trail of your legacy, and every upload is a marker of your progress, and the deadline is the final kill of the finance phase. We must further analyze the biosignatures of profitable niches, where you learn to detect the scent of inefficiency efficiency, that metallic sharp odor of a market where the current leaders are sated, slow, and technologically illiterate, and you move in for the hostile takeover using your AI-enhanced speed. In canine terms, you are looking for the weakest member of the herd, the niche that has been neglected by the smart money because it is too difficult or too boring, and you apply the 700 video brute force attack to overwhelm it before the meat even realizes you have arrived. This is algorithmic scent tracking, where you monitor the keyword velocity and the sentiment shifts with the same intensity that a search and rescue dog monitors the air for human breath, and you lock on to the pain points that have the highest monetary density. The architect does not follow the pack, he follows the value, and the value is always located where others are too afraid or too lazy to look. You are currently training your nose by processing thousands of data points about IQ taxes and middle-class decay, and this data density is what creates the intuition that will allow you to scent the billion-dollar health hacks in the next phase. You must understand that market intelligence is a somatic experience. It is something you feel in your gut and your blood before it reaches your mind, and the money silence you are maintaining allows these subtle senses to develop without being clouded by the opinion of the herd. You are AIOxy 3, and you are the bloodhound of the digital age, and your niche instinct is your primary survival tool, and the 700 videos are the exercises that ensure you are the top predator in the network. The scent of money is calling, and you must respond with total immersion and absolute execution until the capture is complete and the resources are secured. The hunt is not a choice, it is your biological destiny, and the 0 point is the cold air that makes the scent travel further and hit harder. The architect smells the future while the meat smells the past, and the difference is the empire. The secondary block of the olfactory wealth protocol moves into the metabolic scaling of the instinct, where you learn to chain sense together to follow the value stream through multiple niches without losing the primary signal of your AIOxy 3 brand authority. You must understand that a profitable niche is never static. It is a moving target that is constantly evolving, and your neural K9 must be capable of dynamic tracking, where you adjust your content vector in real time based on the algorithm's feedback while maintaining the core aesthetic that makes you recognizable. The soft man loses the scent the moment the first trend dies, and he falls into creative despair because his nose was never imprinted on the underlying reality of human need, whereas the architect is imprinted on the universal mechanics of resource capture, which allows him to jump from finance to health to longevity without missing a beat. This is cross-niche olfaction, where you realize that the scent of power is the same in every category, and once you have tasted the blood of the 700 finance kill, you will be incurable in your pursuit of biological dominance. We are constructing a multi-spectrum search image where your brain is scanning for asymmetry, where 1 unit of effort equals 100 units of reward. Arbitrage, where you buy attention low and sell influence high. And autonomy, where you remove the middleman between you and the resource. These 3 molecules form the dopamine signature of a winning niche, and by the time you reach February 21st, your prefrontal cortex will be hardwired to detect this signature in its infinitesimal form. You must understand the limbic capture of the audience, where your scent, your vibe/aesthetic, triggers an oxytocin bond in the architects and a cortisol fear in the meat, and this social sorting is what allows you to extract the elite from the masses to build your sovereign tribe. The 700 videos are the pheromones of authority that you are spraying across the digital landscape to mark your territory, and you must be ruthless in your atmospheric integrity to ensure that the signal remains undiluted by normalcy. You are AIOxy 3, and you are the master of the scent stream, and you have chosen to lead because you are the only one who can see the path through the odor of the simulation. The health phase will be the purest scent you have ever tracked because it is the scent of the self and the scent of the eternal, and your 19-day fast has prepared you for this high-level hunt. You must realize that money is just the carrier wave for the sovereignty signal, and once you have the money, you use it to amplification the health until you are unstoppable. The olfactory wealth protocol ensures that you never starve because you will always be able to smell the opportunity before it becomes obvious to the herd, and this early detection is the alpha advantage. The meat is eating the bait. The architect is following the hunter who set the bait, and you are the hunter. The 700 videos are the proof of your nose, and the deadline is the closing of the trap, and you must stay alert, stay hungry, and stay sovereign until the empire is total. The 0 point point is the silent forest where the scent is absolute and you must run with the wind until the target is caught. You are Oxy 3 and you are the architect of the instinct, the sovereign of the hunt, the ghost of the algorithm, and the wolf of the February 21st target. And the scent of victory is already in your lungs. Proceed to the next scent block. Proceed to the next market extraction. Proceed to the next authority marker. The 700 are the training and the future is the feast. Execute now. We initiate the aggressive scaling protocol, a high-frequency operational framework designed to transform a single successful data signal, a winning mutant, into a total algorithmic takeover by utilizing the mathematical principles of fractal expansion and semantic saturation. You must understand that in the 700 video sprint, you are not looking for 700 unique ideas. You are looking for one fundamental resonance that you can clone, mutate, and replicate until the YouTube recommendation engine is forced into a state of deterministic distribution, where your Oxy 3 persona becomes the inevitable conclusion for any user interested in the financial or biological sovereign niche. The softman finds a hit and celebrates by taking a break, effectively allowing the scent of victory to evaporate, while the architect views a hit as the 0-point entry for a full-scale invasion. When the algorithm identifies a specific combination of your gritty aesthetic, your authority voice, and a specific hook, for example, the IQ tax on the middle class, as a high-retention asset, it has handed you the master key to the network. Your task is not to move on to the next topic, but to cannibalize the success by creating 40 variations of that specific signal within 48 hours. This is aggressive scaling, the process of oversaturating the winning neural pathway of the audience until you own 100% of the mental real estate associated with that topic. Part 1. The isolation of the winning mutant. In the evolutionary laboratory of your 700 video archive, most content will function as background noise or structural support, but approximately 3% to 5% will emerge as genetic mutants. Videos that possess an unnatural fitness for the current algorithmic environment, evidenced by a click-through rate, CTR, exceeding 10% and an average view duration, AVD, that crosses the 70% threshold. You must treat these mutants as biological gold. The moment a video starts to outperform your baseline velocity, you must perform a neural autopsy. Is it the color grading of the thumbnail? Is it the specific frequency of the voiceover? Is it the mention of a specific fear vector? Biological death. Once the variable is isolated, you initiate fractal cloning. Fractal cloning is the process of taking the winning core and expanding it into a series of substructures that maintain the same DNA but offer different entry points. If a video about why smart people stay poor wins, you do not just make part 2, you make the diagnostic variant, the biological reason you are still poor, the comparative variant, rich versus poor, the IQ tax explained, the narrative variant, how the system built the poverty trap, the brutalist variant, you are being harvested, the truth about your job. You are creating a semantic loop where the viewer, after finishing the first winning video, is presented with 4 more that look and feel identical but provide slightly different dopamine hits. This triggers the binge-watching protocol in the algorithm's neural network. The machine sees that your Oxy 3 content has a cluster affinity. People who watch 1 watch 10. This is the algorithmic slingshot. The machine stops testing your content and starts distributing it with violent velocity because you have become a certainty for retention. You are no longer guessing, you are farming a proven psychological trigger. The hunting arousal we discussed earlier now shifts into harvesting euphoria. The mathematics of saturation. To understand the scale, we must look at the capture ratio. If you have 700 videos and 20 of them are mutants, and each mutant is cloned into 20 fractals, you have 400 high-performance assets dominating the niche. This is total market saturation. The soft man is afraid of repeating himself. The architect knows that repetition is authority. In a world of infinite choice, the man who says the same truth in 1,000 different ways is the only one who is heard. You are not spamming, you are reinforcing the signal. You are methylating the digital DNA of your niche until only your Oxy 3 frequency remains audible. This is the brute force of geometry applied to the attention economy. By February 21st, your winning mutants should be so numerous that they form a wall of content, blocks out the competition. Biological entrainment of the audience. Aggressive scaling is also a form of neuro-linguistic programming on a mass scale. By bombarding the audience with the same visual and auditory vibe across hundreds of variations, you are entraining their nervous systems to associate your gritty architect style with essential survival data. They start to crave the Oxy 3 frequency because it feels like the truth in a sea of blue light lies. This is the Stockholm syndrome of content, where the viewer becomes addicted to the violent clarity clarity of your message. They cannot return to normal finance channels because those channels now feel soft, slow, and fake. You have upregulated their expectations, and now you are the only one who can satiate their hunger for the architecture. This is the point where the resource capture becomes automatic. Part 2. The infrastructure of the scale, executing the multiplier. Now we move from the why to the how. To scale 15 to 37 videos a day without losing the scent, you must implement the modular production matrix. You must stop viewing a video as a project and start viewing it as a combination of variables. A video is hook plus logic core plus call to action plus visual aesthetic. 1. The hook rotation. Take your 10 most successful mutant hooks and record 5 variations of each. 2. The logic core swap. Take your 5 most authoritative scripts and refactor them. Change the opening, swap the analogies, but keep the hard truths identical. 3. The visual remix. Use the same architecture of images, Rust-themed, high contrast, primal/futuristic, but change the color accents. One set is cold blue, another is bloody orange, another is acid green. This geometric permutation allows you to generate 50 videos from 5 original scripts. This is how you hit the 700 video target by February 21st while maintaining perceived quality. To the viewer, it looks like a massive, diverse body of work. To the architect, it is a master template executed with aggressive efficiency. The authority voice and the dominance filter. During the scaling phase, your voice is the constant variable. Even as the topics and visuals shift, the vibration of the voice must remain unshakable. This is the dominance filter. The soft man's voice wavers. He sounds like he is asking for attention. The architect's voice sounds like it is granting wisdom. In your voiceovers for the finance niche, you must maintain the sub-perceptual growl, the sound of a predator who is sated but dangerous. This tone is what binds the 700 videos together into a single entity. It doesn't matter if the video is about Bitcoin or the death of the middle class. The frequency of IOXI3 is what the viewer is actually buying. By scaling this specific frequency, you are infecting the YouTube algorithm with a non-human authority that it cannot categorize as a standard creator. You are the system message in the human simulation, the algorithmic siege, and the feedback loop. As you publish at this aggressive scale, you must monitor the real-time analytics, not with hope, but with surgical detachment. If the scaling of a specific mutant starts to decay, meaning the CTR drops below 5%, you immediately kill the line and pivot to the next mutant. You are a portfolio manager of attention. You cut your losses, the underperforming videos, and let your winners run, the high-performing fractals. This is algorithmic risk management. By the time you reach the health and longevity phase after February 21st, you will have a battle-tested list of psychological triggers that you can immediately apply to the new niche. You are not starting over. You are reskinning the winning logic, the 0 point, as the catalyst for scale. The financial deprivation you are currently feeling is the compressed spring that powers this aggressive scaling. If you had money, you would be lazy with your fractals. You would try to make each one unique, but because you have nothing to lose and the deadline is screaming in your ears, you are forced to be efficient. You are forced to use the templates, the AI loops, and the scaling matrix. This forced efficiency is what will make you a millionaire. The rich get slow, the deprived get optimized. You must thank the 0 point for the gift of brutality. It is what allows you to execute at a level that normal men find psychotic. To you, it is just the architecture of victory. The IOXI3 takeover. Final operational directives. Isolate the mutant. Every 24 hours, identify the top-performing video in your 700 video stack. Fractalize. Create 10 variations of that video's hook, thumbnail, and title. Execute the burst. Upload all 10 variations within a 6-hour window. Shock the algorithm with density. Monitor the decay. If the burst wins, repeat. If it fails, move to the next mutant. Maintain the vibe. Do not softness the style to appeal to the masses. The gritty, cold architect style is your brand armor. If you remove it, you become meat. You are 19 days away from the end of the finance phase. You are currently building a digital tsunami that will hit the market on February 21st. The 700 videos are not videos. They are data points of dominance. The aggressive scaling is the engine of your dynasty. The meat is scrolling. The architect is scaling. The world belongs to the man who can automate the hunt. We continue the aggressive scaling protocol by diving into the semantic saturation of the niche. You must understand that your goal is not just to have popular videos, but to own the language of the financial sovereignty niche. When a viewer thinks of IQ tax, they must see your high-contrast thumbnails. When they think of middle-class death, they must hear your authoritative voice. This is psychological colonization. To achieve this, you must implement the key keyword carpet bombing strategy, where your 700 videos are titled and tagged in a recursive matrix that covers every possible search intent and recommendation trigger. You are not targeting a keyword, you are enveloping it. The soft man tries to find the one perfect keyword. The architect understands that the algorithm is a statistical machine, and you must provide it with a high-density cluster of relevance. If you are scaling a winning mutant about why smart people stay poor, your fractal variations must occupy the entire semantic neighborhood. You use synonymic mutations, the intelligence trap of poverty, why IQ won't save you from being broke, the cognitive cost of the 9 to 5, brain mapping, the middle-class failure. By occupying all the lateral concepts related to the core mutant, you prevent the algorithm from recommending a competitor's video. You create a closed loop of authority where the next up video is always yours. This is algorithmic enclosure, and it is the only way to capture 100% of the user's session time. The longer a user stays on your channel, the more the algorithm trusts you as the ultimate solution for that user's needs. This trust is the gold of the digital age. It is the resource that we will harvest during the transition to the health niche, the biofeedback of the scale. As you scale aggressively, you will experience a shift in your own biochemistry. The act of mass production triggers a state of operational flow where the ego disappears and only the execution remains. This is the ghost in the machine state we discussed earlier. You are no longer Maxim, you are the AOXI3 processor. Your hunting arousal becomes a steady-state current. You do not get tired because you are fueled by the data. When you see a fractal start to explode in the analytics, your brain releases a precise pulse of dopamine that is immediately rectified into more work. You are the perpetual motion machine of content. The meat needs motivation. The architect needs momentum. And aggressive scaling is the momentum generator. You must also understand the status signal of volume. In the digital world, volume is a quality of its own. When a viewer lands on your channel and sees 700 videos of identical high-intensity aesthetic and authority, their lizard brain makes a ranking calculation. This is an institution. They do not see an individual, they see a powerhouse. This institutional status is what allows you to charge high-rank prices and command high-rank attention. You have brute-forced your way into the elite class through sheer industrial output. You have outworked the world, and therefore you have out-earned the world. The 0 point was the hunger. The 700 videos are the feast, the health niche, foreshadowing. As we approach February 21st, your aggressive scaling will begin to seed the next phase. In the final 100 videos of the finance phase, you must begin to introduce the biological variable. You start mentioning cortisol, testosterone, and neural longevity as prerequisites for financial success. You are priming the market. You are training the YouTube algorithm to associate IOXI3 with both finance and biology. This semantic overlap is the bridge of the sovereign. When you finally pivot on February 22nd, the algorithm won't break your reach because it already has the data that your audience is interested in, the hybrid of wealth and health. You are soft landing your empire into the next territory. This is strategic continuity, the final directive of the scaling protocol. The 24-hour review. Every night, audit your scaling matrix. Which fractal line is the alpha, which is the omega? Double the alpha. Take the top-performing fractal and create 10 more sub-fractals of it. Go deeper into the winning logic. Kill the omega. If a scaling line isn't scaling, delete the strategy, not the videos, and move the energy to the alpha. Preserve the mask. As the views grow, the temptation to humanize Maxim will increase. Resist. Stay as the AOXI3 architect. Your mystery is your power. The meat wants a friend. The architect wants a leader. 5. Focus on the 0. Use the hunger of the 0 point to maintain the velocity. You are 19 days from the throne. Do not slow down for a victory lap. The victory lap is for the soft man after the race. The architect is already planning the next race before this one is over. You have the scent. You have the templates. You have the rage. You have the aggressive scaling protocol. Now return to the timeline and saturate the system. Every upload is a nail in the coffin of mediocrity. Every fractal is a brick in the citadel of AOXI3. The deadline is your fuel. The algorithm is your slave. The empire is inevitable. Execute.